What's up, everyone? I'm Gavin, also known as Tweek.
Not the AKA.
Bro, the also known as gets me every time.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm done playing games.
This just okay. What's good? It's Pink, Marcus in the building, and we don't have Has, but we do have.
Hey, this week I made it. This week I made it. Not MIA this time, but Haz is busy with some work stuff, and we need to push the content out for the people. So here we are, Tweek Talks, episode 52.
Yeah, good job.
Dang, 52, 52.
Hey, that's a whole year, 52 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm so sad I missed the last one. I like listened to it. And I just wanted to roast Has so much about Ken, but now it's too late. We're already like the week. It's already week old news. Like Ken is washed, whatever. Right, on to the next thing. But so I'm sad I got to miss the roasting, but
yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
Today we'll be talking about Battle BC 4 that happened over the weekend. Honestly, a really exciting tournament. A lot of crazy matches, a lot of game fives, a lot of storylines. I feel like it was just it just kept getting more and more exciting, and it's just a lot of like once in a lifetime type of things. I guess I don't know how else to describe it. It was a very crazy tournament.
Yeah,
for Smash Ultimate. You know what? The first thing I actually want to talk about is that Gluto combo,
bro.
With the trampoline,
That
bro.
point was incredible. Like,
How is he ready for that?
I legit was like,
who's ready for that?
I was legit like screaming in my living room because I had it like on the big TV in there, and he was like, "What happened?" Like, and I was like, "You just have to see it. You have like, I swear, like I'm not exaggerating. Like it was like one of the craziest things, even for Gluto standards. Like it was like one of the craziest things
Like
I've seen from Gluto.
in bracket, like that's not like a friendly combo. That's like on the line. If you miss your waff, like you messed up, right? And I
Yeah,
was just like, bro, he just did it.
Bro,
Like,
it was
off
like
the
so cool.
trampoline.
off the
Yeah,
Off the
trampoline. Who's
trampoline.
like ST? Like, I'm sure when T got hit by, like, it's
yeah.
like what just happened? Like,
Psychic damage.
like definitely some mental
Up
damage.
throw, double up air, off the trampoline, neutral air, 1-2 into a double jump waft.
So good.
It
So
was really good.
off of grab, and
Yeah, a 0 to
Pac-Man's
death off
love
the grab.
Pac-Man's love to they can mash like up B out of hit stun and kind of like create this weird situation where sometimes you'll even like they'll just get a hitbox out, or they put like this trampoline, and then if you want to like fast fall down to a platform or something and reset, like you go on the tramp, like it just makes
Yeah.
the situation awkward. And it's so crazy that Gluto just saw that and was like, oh sick, you're like dead because you did this. Like I'm gonna kill you at 0 because you decided to mash up B. And I'm just like so situationally aware of this trampoline and what I can get off of that. Like being that situationally aware that fast and reacting that quick and getting up now, like even just getting a hit in that situation, it's like, oh dang, like nice, you know what I mean? But to be like, oh, you're dead off this, like that is like you only do that when you've played Wario for over a decade, like, and that's the only
Yeah.
character you've played. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is just
Bro,
wild.
didn't he have another like combo on Twitter a long time ago where he was playing against a Pac-Man?
Yeah,
and
it
then,
was like some like weird trade into a waft, I think.
yeah, it was
Yes.
like dash
Oh,
attack
he
or
like up
something.
me out of
Like
shield during
dash
the
attack,
dash
right?
attack, and
Yeah.
they
They
traded and like
traded.
went in the same
Yep.
direction. Then he
Yep.
used waft. I remember now. I was thinking of that too, Marcus. I was trying to remember.
Bro
And
just
he
knows his
knows that.
Pac-Man
Like he
situation.
just
Yeah,
That's
like
he
the
just
crazy.
pack.
knows that
Like
shit.
I guess so. You know what's funny is like, I've had so many experiences where people are like, "I'm so scared." Like when I'm at 0 against Wario, like I don't want to die at 0. Something I would always bring up is like you don't die off of like a grab at 0. But Gluto has finally like put it into reality. So like now it's like, who knows what he's gonna do. But
Yeah.
Bro,
there's also what's up?
that's like part of like what makes Gluto so good though is that like
Yeah,
if he, especially like matchups that are hard, like Pac-Man Wario, for example, like he will study every single interaction at every percent with every move, like, and he will just figure out like the best way to win, and he does it very consistently. Like
yeah. He finds a way to get his X factor. It's
yeah,
really really cool.
any character he loses to, he's just instantly in the lab. Like, okay, well, like there's some more I can, and that's what's cool because he's so optimistic about Wario, you know,
Yes.
where it's just like, okay, there's something I could have done, so I'm gonna immediately go to lab and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's really sick to see.
Yeah. And he won that game too, because it was still going like pretty rough despite that combo. And I was like, bro, Gluto, you need to win this game. And he did. So it just like from my experience, every time I get a cool clip, I'm always telling myself like it's ruined if I lose. Like I have to win the game too.
Yeah.
Like you can't like clip someone and then lose because then like it's canceled out. Like now
Yeah,
it's not cool
exactly.
anymore.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
But he got the clutch win too, like in a last hit scenario. So like that just made it like the perfect game. But there's a lot of other stuff to talk about too. Ken using Sephiroth, like in
Winning the
like
tournament with Sephiroth.
multiple sets in a row. I think every single set in top 8 was with Sephiroth. Ouch is another big one. Ouch made it all the way to third place with Wolf, a really young player from Canada.
If you thought Riddles was
like
the only one from Canada that was good, think again.
that's
man.
what I was thinking the whole time while watching that tournament. I was like, Canada did really well. Like Canada really like held it down in their region, Riddles and Ouch. You know what I mean?
And
In terms
Exodia,
of like
right?
top 8, I'm sure there's other people that placed really well too. But
Yeah.
in terms of like on the big stage, like really holding it down, like
with names like this, look
like
at this.
Ouch and Riddles got all the way up to top 4. Like that's really really good.
Over Gluto, Shuton, Siski, and Kome?
Yeah,
like
that's
that
really good.
is crazy good.
Yeah.
Crazy good. So, and I mean we've talked about Ouch quite a bit on this podcast. So, I mean, we're like I'm not like super surprised. I'm more so just like really happy that Ouch was able to perform in terms of like Wolves that kind of are keeping it going. You know what I mean? Like Charlie, Ouch, or like the first Larry, right? Jackal, right? I mean,
I was gonna be pissed off, bro.
hey, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, right? And I mean, there's a Orion, right, that did well at Genesis. So there's a lot of Wolf players, and some of them. I mean, you used to be Gavin as well, right? But some of them have kind of gone on to other characters. I feel like Ouch is one of the few Wolves that are still keeping it going with solo Wolf, or at least I didn't see Ouch play any other character this weekend. So I mean, I could be wrong in terms of
I
secondaries,
think
but
one of
the top
the
8
most
was
impressive things about Ouch's run was there was at least like one reverse 3-0 too, right?
Yeah, that was against Kome.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I was thinking like when that set was starting, like Kome versus Ouch, I was like, all right, like if Ouch wins this, like that's insane. And not only did Ouch win the set, like it was reverse 3-0, and then just kept it going for all the way up into third place. I was like, yeah, like that's just like
that sounds wrong.
One of the craziest things I've seen.
That sounds wrong.
Wait, was it 3-1?
He did 3-1 him. I'm pretty sure because I know he lost.
There was a reverse 3-0, right?
He lost game 1.
Shuton.
It was Shuton. Yeah, he lost game 1 against Kome, pretty convincingly, or it was like pretty close, and they just convincingly 3-stocked him the next game, and I was like,
yeah,
bro, what just stuff. Like how did it just like clicked for you that fast, and then he just smoked him for the rest of the set. That kid's like.
I remember the last Shuton game. It was similar. Shuton landed like a 70% combo, and then Ouch 3-stocked Shuton from there.
He realizes like where people want to go, like, and the way that they like to play, like their pacing at which they like to play. He realizes it really quickly, and he either just outpaces them or he just makes them play at the pace that he likes. But generally, like I was watching them like versus Kome, and I was like, oh yeah, it was, Japanese gonna play a little slower. Like Kome likes to, like uses gigantic hitboxes to control space around him. And Ouch was just like, okay, I see that you like to do that, and I'm just not gonna let you do that, and I'm gonna make you really uncomfortable. I love watching him play. He just like goes for things. It's like, I think this is gonna work. I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, bro. And he also is like one of the few players that makes like a lot of use out of parrying. Like, there's like the top players like Light and stuff, like Mars who like parry a ton, and then there's the others that go for like more with punishes. Ouch loves parrying.
I wonder if it's an awareness on the actual frame data, because I saw like a couple like parry up smashes, which sounds like it would be the most normal thing ever, but up smash isn't like the fastest smash attack ever. So sometimes it makes me think like you know,
He knows what moves
does
he can
Ouch
and
know the
can't.
difference between
Yeah.
going for a tilt and going for an up smash out of parry? You know,
Yeah, bro.
it's hard to tell, but definitely like regardless, like was very like on point with like the punishes, especially for taking stocks, which is easier said than done with Wolf.
Right. It's like he like knows situations where people just want to like avoid
Yeah.
certain moves, and then he just uses other moves. I'm
Like getting stocks with Wolf nowadays are like way harder than most like relevant characters. Like it's just not that easy. There's not like a super easy kill confirm or like anything like that. So it's really impressive for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not like
Like,
landing like forward air, back air much anymore, so you have to get a lot more
Yeah, like
creative.
you
dude,
can't just like do like a
Ouch
rising
was.
forward and then all of a sudden convert it into a kill. Like it has to
But he
be like
did do that. Did you see that one set where he? I don't think it was a rising fair, but it looked like a rising, like slightly delayed fair into a back air. And I don't know if it was true, but it looked
I'd have to see
pretty
it.
close.
I would tell you if it was true or
It
not,
was,
but
it was in. It had to been like. It was definitely in top 8 for sure. But I don't know the exact interaction, like who he was playing against. But I remember seeing him do like a slightly delayed rising fair to bear, and I was like, wow. I was just like, my head kind of jerked back. I was like, is that true? Like,
You
it's
know, you
fair
gotta ask.
because you definitely can't get immediate rising fair, like a straight rising fair. But if you're like rise, but you delay it a little bit, then fair as you're coming up, then you might be able to do it.
Wolf is I've probably said this on the podcast at least a couple times. Wolf is my favorite character to watch in the game because I've played a lot of Wolf myself, and I always like to just like kind of watch the match and like would I have done that? Do I like what they did? Do I not like what they did? Like what you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just with Wolf specifically, I really like that. I think it's like Wolf specifically, you know, there's some of it is simple, some of it is like a bit ambiguous. So like I don't know, there's something about Wolf that like I always I want to watch every Wolf player and just like see what my thought process would have been if I was in that situation.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, like Ouches is a little weird, and it's not like it's weird because of how simple the Wolf is. Ouch's Wolf is extremely simple, but it just always is getting the job done. Like nothing ever catches me off guard, but it's like Marcus said earlier, it's like he's always outpacing them or like something like that. And but like it was honestly, I was pretty confused sometimes for like one of the first times ever when watching Wolf. I'm like, I don't understand. Like he's making it look easy sometimes, and
That right there, that looked like it was slightly delayed. That fair to bear,
I think that was true because of Riddles' DI for sure.
but like that. It could have that looked like not the greatest DI because off of the rising fair you usually want like hard like you want to be like hard drifting in with the falling fair is usually the best case scenario. But I
Yeah,
feel like Ouch did a really good job of just like getting like there. Oh my, that was before go. Like
he's
that's
fast.
crazy.
Ouch is
He's
like
fast.
his reactions are fast too. Yeah, I feel
Mhm.
like that's like could be a big part of it too. Like maybe he's like playing faster than like I would be in these situations, and like just he was there for that ledge roll like immediately, like a fucking wolf.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
yeah, I had a great time, especially because it like kind of took me out of that like I always like watching wolf perspective because I just couldn't comprehend it. So I just started watching it for fun. Like I was like, I give up. I give up trying to understand. Like I was just having fun watching Ouch win at that point. Um,
even those flashes I liked. He didn't always connect them. There was even a little earlier
my dash
he
attack would have got
landed.
punished there.
He landed a forward air and then he jumped and he like pre-positioned for the follow-up. He didn't autopilot the bear though. He sees the DI and then like he saw that he couldn't get bear, so he tried to like get a jump read or something afterwards, right? And I think reacting as Wolf and being like, oh, I hit falling fair, but like do I pull the trigger on back? Because if you autopilot the trigger, then you lose the RPS afterwards, right? Or like the situation where you could call out jump or you could force out air dodge. So I think Ouch, in terms of hitting a confirm, he's very good at seeing where they go and like sees if he has to commit to the back air or not. And then from there, he just plays out. Like to me, Ouch got a lot of kills with back air, which before 100%, which like when you look at Wolf's back air as a move, you're like, okay, that can't be that hard. But everyone avoids that move so well. So the fact that he was able to get so many of those stocks this tournament. And as a past Wolf main, like, and someone who just like studies Spacies intensively, like, I'm very impressed with his ability to set up those situations
Yeah, just getting kills consistently in all these different matchups and like
at not 130, 140 with
making
forward
people
tilt.
afraid of Wolf. It felt like he like put them in a time machine and took them back to year one. It's like
Yes.
somehow they're just like they're scared of Wolf again, and I loved watching it. And there's also like the biggest, I guess, topic of the day is Ken Sephiroth too. I'd like to hear what you guys thought about Ken's matches in top eight if you watch them. As for me, like I was like trying my best to like take what I can from it and like use it for my own Sephiroth. And I think one of the biggest things is uh, I think Ken was really aerial heavy, but at the same time always fast falling super well everything he did. Like and just like playing Sephiroth way faster than um, you would imagine the character could be played at. And like I think that's another kind of similar to Ouch, like making people really scared because Ken was like throwing out these really low to the ground aerials that are really strong and like just constantly throwing them out. And I feel like making people afraid of Sephiroth is one of the most important things you need to do when you play the character. Because if the character doesn't get any fear out of you, like then it feels like they just don't care about your existence. Like I'm just gonna sit here and shield all your stuff, or I'm like just gonna wait for you to do something laggy and mess it up. But I feel like if you can get them like uncomfortable or scared, Sephiroth becomes like way more of a threat, especially when like some of the wind conditions come in, like wing or something, right? Um, I think that's one of the main things I took away, uh, specifically from Ken's gameplay, and also just like it made me want to like play Sephiroth, right, and like get some games in and like simplify my own game because it's like wow, like Ken is just like using a lot of aerials and just covering space and just fast falling really well and just keeping it really simple. And I like wanted to like try that on my own time, and it was just crazy to see in a tournament because I'm sure y'all have heard this before. A lot of people talk about Sephiroth as a character that's bad in bracket. A lot of people categorize Sephiroth with characters like Sheik, right? Like
Mhm.
where like this character maybe can do it, right? But like gets so much worse in a bracket. And I always understand where they're coming from, right? Like it makes like we know what they're trying to say, like they're just hard or they're glass
Right.
cannons. Like it's I get what they're saying, but something that I've always thought in the back of my head, despite like on a tier list, I would put Sephiroth pretty low. I still think Sephiroth sometimes can be the opposite because of if you can make them afraid of the character, because there is a lot to be afraid of. Sometimes I think it's the exact opposite. Like sometimes I think people play way worse against Sephiroth in tournament, kind of like a Ganondorf or Little Mac factor, just because he's so scary with like one wing or the range and the kill power. And I think Ken, with his playstyle, does that really well. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit, but I hope that makes sense. But sometimes I think it's the opposite of what people think. Like maybe a balance of both, like the struggles of those characters like Sheik and stuff, while having like the kill power and like KO punch kind of factor that other characters have in tournament that like make them a little better than they actually are.
Oh, I 100% agree. I mean,
Yeah, it's like it's weird
Sephiroth.
because he has like the worst attributes and then the best sometimes. I don't know how to describe it.
High highs, low lows, right? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like Sephiroth is just you. You are light and you're tall, so then you're susceptible to kind of like you just want to get wing. You bullshit your opponent
Yep.
with wing, right? So it's like when you're fighting against a hard matchup. Usually, what makes a hard matchup for Sephiroth is can they KO you with ease and put you in a situation that's like almost unavoidable when you don't have wing and get the KO on you, right? I think characters like Fox can do this, Sheik can do this to Sephiroth. So, I mean, those are off the top of my head, and I think Sephiroths are getting better at just understanding what they need to do to just get wing, right? Like, okay, cool, just like take the grab or take this. Like, if I'm on ledge, I can get off, like, not necessarily for free, but I have a decent amount of options to get off ledge with wing and stuff like that. One thing I will say, Ken's Sephiroth was like very back air heavy. Um,
Yeah.
like, and Ned, it's funny because I think Ned started doing the specific back, like that back air I saw Ken doing a lot, like that one right there. I saw Ned doing that a lot, like first week of Sephiroth, and I didn't know if
Yeah.
how good that particular back air was, but I think it's like,
I think it's
and
matchup dependent. I think in a lot of the
Yeah.
matchups that Ken played in, it made a lot of sense.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
because if you play against like a fox or a wolf, like they go
They're gonna
vertical
be
and
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
they will go over it so fast. But like if you play against like an Olimar or like a Pac-Man, they would have to. They don't have the range or the speed to close the
hmm
distance, so they would have to jump. But their jump is so slow and
Or
floaty that it
the out
doesn't
of shield
matter.
options at that
Right.
mid range.
Which is something that I noticed about Ken Sephiroth is he loves playing in a range where like back air isn't fully space, it's just like kind of space, right? And sometimes he'll drift into you with the back air, sometimes he'll drift into you and go for like a neutral air instead, right? Like facing backward. There's a lot of like this mid range where it's not, oh, I'm playing full space, zone you out, I'm just going to keep moving backwards, Sephiroth. It's like I'm controlling this space right here and you have to figure out how to deal with it. And that's something that I really enjoy because outside of like him doing a lot of back air and forward air, he was very dash heavy. Like most Sephiroths are more like I can't even say most Sephiroths. It's I only see like you really and like Ned sometimes. Most of them are more jump heavy, because you know like what you get off of landing a neutral air, right? And you also understand like the like it's unreactable when you decide to land near them if you're going to do nair or grab, right? It's just
He
they
has a
have to
really
get
good like fast fall and
right,
stuff.
so they have to guess and like
hmm
you play around that really well. But Ken just plays around the fact that, oh, I'm playing mid range and they have to figure out how to get around this mid range area, and
Yeah.
if they can't, well, I guess I win.
I love talking about this because um like some of the situations I do, like something that was so interesting from Ken Sephiroth is it's like he was playing without paying attention to his opponent's damage. Like it's like you're at 0, I'm gonna be doing the same things that I'm gonna be doing when you're at 150. If
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. Like
Yep.
these back airs are gonna keep coming all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And something that's interesting is something that's really good about Sephiroth is he's pretty good at getting shield pokes. He's pretty good at like scouting what you're doing if shield isn't on the table because he has so much range.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he's going to get like harder reads, more valuable hits, stuff like that. And he's just constantly pressuring shields. And
Right.
even it shows in some of his ledge trapping and corner pressure too. A lot of his options are super preemptive, and I think he's just looking for the situation after the fact, which is a big part of Sephiroth's gameplay. And I think it's kind of similar to what I do with like when I down smash someone's shield. I'm never really looking for the shield break. I'm just looking to take shield out of the equation for a little bit and then go from there. I think Ken is just doing that all the time, just with less shield damage than the down smash. Shield back air the shield at 0, like, and it's what's also interesting is how little Shadow Flare Ken used, because he's replacing a lot of those Shadow Flares that other Sephiroth players might do with just constant aerials all the time. And we were mentioning that it probably is a lot of the matchups Ken was playing. Like against Pac-Man, it makes a lot of sense because it's like, what is Pac-Man necessarily going to do about it? But yeah, I really like it, especially because it makes me feel like I'm on the right track with my Sephiroth, because I've been using a lot less side B than I used to when I like a few months back. I've been like more focused on some other things. So I just it's interesting because I'm just trying to add some of this stuff to my game plan. And when I did, I was like, I liked it at first. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just like pressing so many buttons and like it's working. But then sometimes like it would clash with my style and I started to hate it. So now I'm like trying to take bits and pieces from Ken Sephiroth and like trying to see what works for me.
hmm
Um, but yeah, it kind of similar to what I was talking about with Ouch. At some points, I just couldn't comprehend like why it's working because it felt like so so simple, but it at the same time, it's like there has to be something I should be taking from this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think the impressive thing for me was how Ken controlled space with back air. I think for it's like so weird because there's so many growing phases. At least like I've seen and talked with you a lot about just your Sephiroth play. So in terms of like growing, I've kind of I'm watching it happen, right? And I know right now, especially like looking at when I compare the different now there are different matchups and stuff, but in Momocon, your Sephiroth played in a sense where it's like okay, a lot of movement. It was more movement and sometimes or not even sometimes a lot of times they would be coming center stage and you wouldn't like control space with a hitbox. You would just try to fade back, right? And just try to get like a whiff punish. But then if they didn't come into you, it's like, okay, you're kind of giving up that stage control, not necessarily for free, but like you're not necessarily fighting for it or like committing to something to control that area. And I think the main differences I saw with you and Ken both in that situation, Ken would still kind of retreat, and I think this is what makes back air so good, is because since it's a back air, you can just fade back with it, right? So just like a quick fade back, like a dash back into a back air, unless they like full hop and have like insane drift like Wolf or something like that, most characters can't really deal with that. It it like it depends. Like maybe some like some characters that could whiff punish it maybe are like Fox or Mithra, maybe right? Sheik, like someone that has like really divey, quick dash attacks. But and I think actually Ken used a lot more back air than fair too.
Yeah,
So
just
I
like
think
consistent, like more lower to the ground, like more likely to catch
right.
like jumps too.
And Ken was very consistent at being able to do the same delayed back air in wing or not in wing, which I think is a very similar aspect of Smash 4 Cloud because there are some Cloud players that were very comfortable playing Limit Cloud because you were usually Limit Cloud more than you were regular Cloud, right? And then some, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
like even
that
like
makes
Cloud
sense.
back airs were different, but in this game it's not that big of a difference because you're only limit for like 13 seconds or something like that, right? But with wing, you're kind of like a good amount of time with wing depending on how slow you guys both players play it. So Ken being able to do that same back air in wing or without wing was very impressive. And the fact that Ken kind of just you still see forward air, like the way I see it is forward air is meteor. It probably comes out that counter was godlike, by the way.
Yeah,
That was
it's insane
so
that
good. So good.
just 50-50, win or
Yes.
lose.
And Sephiroth, that's another thing too. Is another thing that maybe you don't like doing too much. I know is just taking certain risks or gambles, but I feel
Yeah,
like Scintilla is so strong
That move is broken.
that like sometimes you have to take like you don't even have to take the gamble to win the gamble. You have to show your opponent that you're willing to take that gamble.
yeah,
I think
Yeah,
that's like the a big objective that you could try to do. And I even you did show like a lot of your counters at Momocon were more like recovery counters, stuff like that, but not like 50-50 me. Like we're flipping a coin right now. I'm dead or you're dead. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. That connects to what I thought you were about to say, but what I talk about a decent amount with Sephiroth is the more I play him, the more sometimes I want to categorize him as like a hard read character in those situations. Like sometimes I genuinely compare him to Ganondorf. Like I have this crazy read I could do, and you'll super die, or I'm gonna
At zero
lose.
percent.
Yeah, like, maybe not quite zero,
Well,
but
if you shield break someone at zero.
hey, she'll break somebody. See you.
I guess. But basically, what I'm getting at is like sometimes, like yeah, like sometimes I like wanna go for those smash attacks or go for those counters. Like I don't disagree with you at all, and I think sometimes Sephiroth is just strangely in that category.
Mhm.
Just I don't know. It just and he ended up being different than you would have expected off a first glance with like a sword character like him. But yeah, sometimes I feel like he's the type to take those gambles. Um, and I feel like Ken was pretty good with that, specifically with moves that I've been really interested in too. Being we just talked about counter, but more so up smash.
Oh, smash.
Ken had some really nice up smash usage.
Ned is the up
Uh,
smash lord.
huh?
Ned is like the up smash god with Sephiroth.
Yeah,
Of all the Sephiroths, Ned is the best up smasher for sure.
it's like it's interesting because it's really useful, like because you can like make it a little less risky by like covering yourself with a platform and like.
Hmm.
But I feel like in some of those clips that were even shown right here, if you're watching on YouTube, like Ken would just like read the jump with an up smash, and like I think being willing to throw out those things once in a while, basically what you were talking about with counter, but with for me right now, it's with up smashes. You got to show them that you're going to do it, that you're willing to do it, and that move is really strong with or without wing. Like that move will kill really really early, even without wing. So
instill the fear, even if your move whiffs or if it doesn't whiff. You are instilling something in them.
And this can go for like simpler attacks too. This connects all the way back to the shield pressure thing we were talking about with like Ken's playstyle with back air. It's all about let me make you scared of me, and this connects into getting those harder reads later on, or those like more valuable hits later on. So just honestly really great play from Ken, and I feel like Ken does this with Sonic too. Like Ken is really overwhelming with his Sonic when the game is going well, and gets just really makes people uncomfortable. And I feel like the same can be said about the Sephiroth too.
I think it's a similar style, like in a sense of considering the range, right? Like Sonic obviously wants to run away from you, but I think people don't understand exactly why he's running away from you. And the main reason why Sonic needs to run away from you before he hits you is because he needs to start up Spin Dash, right? So Spin Dash needs to activate and then go into your shield. And that's when it's like, okay, this is my offensive mix-up. But you don't get that by going up to someone point blank and just like spin dashing in their face, right? So
he's back.
he is indeed back.
Is he good? Well, I get this message. Never mind.
I think he looks good. He looks good. We're okay. All right. So, but like you essentially need some kind of distance, right? So, with Sephiroth, you also need that. I mean, Sephiroth can nair in your face, but for the most part, the most favorable distance with Sephiroth is going to be like that back air area, right? Very similar to the same distance where Ken wants to like line up and start a spin dash, and it's like, okay, I've established this amount of space. I can now spin dash and be safe because I'm intangible on the hop, and then they probably just have to shield in this situation, right? Because I can catch jump with the spin dash jump into the combo or whatnot. So I think it's at least operating in that same space. I think Ken is very strong at as a player, and it kind of seeps through into his like back air game with Sephiroth being like, oh, okay, well, dang, like Ken's really good at like
the offensive mix-ups like after
right.
like committing to something. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, essentially just like that back air spacing, right? That spin dash / back air spacing. So, yeah, it was super sick to watch Ken do it up with the Sephiroth. And he also went Sonic, for the earlier parts. I think only top 8, and he only challenged Japanese players.
Yeah, it was like two different phases of his run. It was like the Sonic phase into the Sephiroth phase, and like and both like worked out like beautifully. Like if you're watching on YouTube, like production is showing off Ken versus Riddles. And like going Sonic versus these characters is perfect.
Very smart.
But it actually is what I wanted to talk about with the two matches versus T as well, because Sephiroth can still do really well versus Kazuya. Kazuya's a slow character, and Ken already doesn't really use Shadow Flare that much. Doesn't have to worry about the reflector or anything like that. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like Ken's style is ready for Pac-Man and Kazuya at the same time without having to adjust much. And that's where I was starting to get worried for T. The more matches they played, and it was like, in Ken's favor, I was like, I feel like it's not about switching at this point. I feel like it's about like just like outplaying Ken, because I feel like Ken is prepared for both characters, and it's like the play style is there, in my opinion, and that's where I was like, yeah, I think Ken got this after like getting into grand finals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, basically, I think he could have used Sephiroth versus Riddles as well. If Riddles ended up like winning with Kazuya or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Sonic does even better versus those characters.
Sonic is
it's a good lineup.
Yeah.
Sonic and Sephiroth is a really solid lineup.
Just really surprising. Like that's
definitely not something I've ever thought about, but
yeah.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
It's the darkness duo, man. They both bring darkness to the world.
Two evil characters, two villains.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, you didn't know Sonic is a Smash villain. You haven't seen Twitch chat?
Oh, true.
Come on, man.
What's funny is that there was a time, Gavin, where you were playing Sephiroth. This was maybe like a year ago,
Oh my
a
god,
little over a year
disgusting.
ago,
How has he been out for
and
that long? It feels like he's been out for like a month.
and you said to me, you're like, "Hey, you know what? I think I'm just going to abuse counter." And I was like, "What?" And
I
he's
don't even
like,
remember this.
"You don't
I've
remember
gone through
this,
so many different like
dude? There's this
things where I think
phase.
I have a revelation and it just doesn't end up working out.
There's a phase. There are a couple. There are like a couple things that you said, but you're like, if I shadow flare someone, I'm just gonna counter." I was like, "What?"
Oh
And
yeah, I
you're
was
like,
doing that a lot.
"Yeah, you're like, bro. Everybody just starts smashing buttons, so I just do shadow flare counter, and it was working a
Yeah.
lot." Or you would like, there are just like situations where you hit someone where you do like nair counter, and I was like, "Bro, what is happening?" But it was working.
Sometimes
It
I would
was
like
really good.
chase them in the air and then like counter, like they're like
Yeah.
landing aerial, just like weird. It when I remember now, when I was going through that process, I was treating Sephiroth's counter like witch time. I would
Yeah, you were. Yeah, that's what you
like
said.
it
Yeah.
was like a weird like offensive mix up. Like, oh, I'm doing my bread and butters. Oh, just kidding. I'm countering your like reversal attempt because
Because it's ultimate and you want to mash and you have no end life
yeah,
on
and
your
you also
mash.
like want to like beat the startup of Sephiroth's moves or something.
Right.
So yeah, it once again kind of goes back to what we were talking about, where like sometimes Sephiroth is like a bit of a gambler, and if you can like dive into that style, like it can be really scary and really freak your opponents out.
Well, and then you have the mix of like, and now I'm fading back airing,
Yeah,
right?
now I'm playing like the safe sword character. Yeah,
I think the biggest revelation for me, at least, when watching Ken Sephiroth is like, why Shadow Flare when you can bear? It like, it to me,
Uh
it's
oh.
here's the thing, because at least back air they have to shield to punish you, right? Shadow Flare, if they shield, they're gonna punish you anyway. So it's the
or if
same
it hits
thing,
them.
and that's my thing with Shadow Flare. It's like it the fact that if you hit them and they're point blank next to you and it's negative, that's such a big deal, especially
Yeah,
for a character like Sephiroth, where it's like you really there are situations where you almost can't afford to get hit
this is where
because
I
of the
want to
weight.
talk about where I was saying where like I was weaving in like the stuff I was watching from Ken into my own play rather than just like straight up copying it. This is what I was doing. I was shadow flaring, and then I would just start using a bunch of back air like Ken was doing, and I was just getting that shield damage, and I wasn't really like tunnel visioning for that really specific combo off the shadow flare, or like, you know what I mean? I was like going into the bully phase because it's like it's kind of like what Marcus was saying with the counter, like I'll catch like those jumps or like you trying to like run in on me with the back airs. I don't care if it's sweet spot or sour spot. And if you go the defensive route with the shadow flare, I'm just gonna get some good shield damage. So like that was kind of like my version of like what I was watching with Ken,
Hmm.
and I think that I still think Shadow Flare is really important if you can like master it, especially the situations after the fact. Not even saying that I have, because honestly, like I feel like I could do so much better. I play a lot of online, so it kind of skews my reality though, because it's like
Right.
really hard to play some of these like um,
Not
reactionary
active
scenarios.
hitboxes, precise hitboxes.
That
Yeah.
too, but mainly like I shadow flare someone and I'm like trying to catch what they do afterwards. Like those scenarios are really hard online.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I still have faith in like kind of like I guess my original play style of Sephiroth, but I definitely want to weave in a lot of like the stuff that Ken and Ned do, because honestly their play styles are like pretty similar, right? Would you guys say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel
I,
like mine is like super different. So like I there's still stuff I feel like I could take from them for sure.
I think the biggest one is knowing what matchups you can and cannot Shadow Flare, right? Like I think slower characters go for the Shadow Flare and stuff, right? But it's like
Yeah,
here's the thing about Shadow Flare. It's like, okay, say you hit a Shadow Flare and you could have hit a back air instead of the Shadow Flare, right? It's like at mid percent, you probably just get advantage state from the back air, right?
yeah,
But with Shadow Flare, you reset neutral. So like here, it's where you're in neutral, so you get a better neutral situation, or you can just get like if Shuzan got hit by Bear there, if it was sweet spot, that was just death, right? Instead
yeah.
of the Shadow Flare. But
There's a lot to talk about here. One, Ken's playstyle was basically like really basic and efficient. Like I'm going for the back air because I want more damage right now, and I just want to keep it simple, right?
mhm.
my playstyle for like a lot of the time I'd play Sephiroth, I have a lot of faith in taking the smaller damage with the Shadow Flare and trying to get like something crazier in the next couple interactions, right?
You want to snowball it, right?
So I'm like banking on the fact and really trusting myself that I'll get a hard read or some sort of conditioning. Like I've had a lot of faith in that, and I've really worked on that side of it for a while. And something that's similar, other than like that's neutral, right? Like what is my opener going to be? Back air or Shadow Flare, for example, right? Ken chose back air like over 90% of the time, which is like makes sense. Like you want more damage right then and there, go from there, right?
Right, and
Then
then
there's
his
also
shadow
the
flares felt
situation
like
where it's
forward
like,
tilt instead. Like
yeah,
instead of shadow flaring, he would like forward tilt instead.
yeah,
Or like, and sometimes he would shadow flare, but yeah, it felt more like back air forward tilt was like the
yeah,
main
just
neutral.
take the sword moves and just, like take the damage right then and there, and just work for like the kill from like advantage state.
Mhm.
And then the other one is like using Shadow Flare as a combo extension. Same idea. Do you want to do Nair into Shadow Flare and then bank on like getting something crazy a couple seconds from now, or are you just gonna take the aerial? Like,
Right.
and that's another thing. Maybe like one time in all these clips production has played, Ken has gone for like the Shadow Flare extension, right? Um, Ken just wants the damage and is just it's funny because I'm saying I trust myself to get the Shadow Flare and go from there, but Ken is trusting himself to just keep it consistent and like just I'll consistently get damage and I'll get my stocks. For me, it's like I trust myself to get this crazy mix up, get a super hard read. So it's like it's two very different play styles, and once again, I think a balance could be really really cool.
Which is so weird because you love consistency, so it's always strange to like. But
I
it's
think I
also
just find that side of Sephiroth cool or
yeah.
something.
But
Yeah.
I was about to
That's
say it's
definitely
also very
Gavin.
Gavin. Yeah, I was like
Yeah.
it's very Gavin of you.
I like outplaying people super hard in neutral or like hard reading them and like kind of like letting them know that I'm like in their head and like what better way to do it than like bully them with like Shadow Flare and stuff. So
Yeah, I also think it's just like a very cool like mechanic that's never really been in Smash. So when
yeah,
you first played with it just played with Sephiroth in general, I think that was something that you particularly just enjoyed playing
yeah.
with the character. So
There's hints of it in Smash, but none of it
not
takes
to
as
that
long.
degree.
None of it takes as long as Shadow Flare to explode. Like Mega
Yeah.
Man Side B, there's
Oh,
not much going
right.
on there because it's going to explode before you get any conditioning or mix up. Like, but
Mhm.
Shadow Flare takes a while, so you get to collect a lot of data. You get to like try to bully your opponent, see if they're scared. Like, I like that side of Smash in general. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny because, like I said, I've been playing a lot less Shadow Flare when I play. When I see Sephiroth play in tournament, they keep it very simple and efficient, which is like makes a lot of sense if you're trying to win a tournament match. And even my recent matches at MomoCon were like I kept it more simple than you would watch like on my stream matches where I'm like octa slashing off stage or something, right? Uh, so I get it, but once again, like uh, I think a balance of the hard reads and like the typical sword character can go a long way.
Shouts to all the Sephiroth players, man. I think it's really
Yeah,
fun
we're
that
talking about
we're
Sephiroth all day.
well, it's cool that we're seeing this character's meta develop, right? And I think there's a lot of characters in DLC pack number 2 that the meta their meta is like vastly changing because they first came out online, now we're offline. People are getting jammed because not learning the matchup. Now people are learning the matchup, and then now those character mains have to. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we're seeing this back and forth here, and us just talking about what Sephiroth's like main moves are, right? And what's the game plan and what are the risk rewards? Are you a shadow flare or are you a back error, right? Like stuff like that to me is very fun to see. And obviously or at least in my opinion, Sephiroth's the coolest character to just get added to this roster. So it's really cool to see like top players just picking him up, giving him a chance, even though it took a while in a sense to get used to it. You know, I think Sephiroth is a very different sword character, so it took top players a bit of time to
yeah.
kind of get acclimated to how they should be
That's
playing
something
it,
I
right?
talk about a lot. Like that he's not as much of a sword character as you would expect, at least in like a lot of neutral scenarios. Ken kind
Compared,
of flipping that around though. Ken kind of just played it like a sword character, which is really interesting.
The
Um,
back air is the closest thing to a like the delay the specifically the delayed back air into the fast fall. That's probably his most sword-ish like move.
yeah.
Everything else is feels pretty different to me at least.
Mhm.
Maybe forward tilt as well.
Something else Ken was really consistent with, and I couldn't tell if it was like his opponent's DI or he was like really good at it, was like he would get up throw into two neutral airs with or without wing.
Oh, the double jump.
He
He
would
would
get
like
the
jump
IDJ nair and then get
and
a
then nair
falling
again.
second nair, and it looked
Yeah.
true. And I was like, is this bad DI or is this really good timing? And I think it might have been both.
It looked true to me when I saw that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, so
yeah,
IDJ nair, and then you get the falling nair, which is perfect because you already burned your double jump, right? And if you hit someone with like a falling nair, you're
yeah.
going back down towards the ground to reset your resources. So your next, it's like 25-ish%, and the next situation is really good afterwards
Because I
because
was like
you're
looking
coming
at it and
downward.
I was thinking, am I crazy or does it not work like that easily for me when I do it? Because I've definitely done that, but I feel like there's a lot of situations where I get one neutral air, so I'm questioning like, is it bad DI? Am I not IDJing as well as Ken is here?
Well, if
But
you think about it, what are they going to do, right? I mean, the quickest thing they'll probably be able to
because I
do
always
is just
burn the
air
jump for
dodge.
this combo, but I feel like sometimes I don't get the second nair, and
Well,
maybe I'd have to watch more. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but that was really nice too. Because I'm like, wow, that's just more damage at zero.
Well, right, and if they air dodge the second nair, you're falling down
Oh
with them.
yeah, that's
So you
perfectly
just
fine.
so it's fine. So I think even if it's not exactly like frame tight true, it's like it looks close enough to be true that if it wasn't true, it's probably a frame trap anyway, right? Where you're like
Yeah,
falling down with them snapping, and then it's like, oh, you air dodged the snap. Like, okay, cool. I'm about to land on the ground. I can do maybe another rising snap or maybe a grab or something of the sort. So yeah, I like that combo route or pressure route if it's not true
yeah.
from Ken Sephiroth.
Hmm. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. We basically just talked about Wolf and Sephiroth. This is like the best day of my life, apparently.
It's too lit. Great
And
episode.
Wario, and Wario.
And
And
Wario.
Wario.
Sad
Quick shout outs to
Wario again.
Riddles. He got fourth.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
There's
like
still a lot we didn't talk about, and that
yeah.
is not shade towards anyone. We just,
Yeah.
of course, the elephant in the room is Sephiroth like winning a big tournament, so we got to talk about that.
That was Ken's first North American tournament win in his entire Smash career. So even from Smash 4, and
That's
Ken
huge.
was a dominating force in Smash 4. He was
Yeah.
so
Yep.
good in Smash 4.
Yeah.
So
And he
I was surprised when he said that in the interview. I was like, wow, he didn't win
kept
like
running
the
into the
NA.
buzz, man.
Yeah.
He kept running into the buzz. I was like, not again.
And
And me.
he definitely didn't like the Bayo matchup. I talked a lot with Ken about the Bayo matchup. He said very harsh things about the Bayo matchup.
Whoa.
I'm not gonna say his words, man. He just didn't like the Bayo matchup. All right, I didn't like the Bayo matchup. I'll
That's
say it.
weird. Why not?
Huh?
All right, we will be at the Gimvitational doing a special
Hey.
episode.
Oh, true.
We got to talk about that. But thank you for watching episode 52, and I guess the next episode will be even cooler. So thank you so much for watching.
The Gims, man.
Always wins. See you.